हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम महत्प्रदान काल्पनिक सच्चिदानंद स्वरूपिणे नमो नारायणे हरि। कल्याणगात्राय कामतार्थप्रदे श्रीमद् वेंकटनाथाय श्रीनिवासाय नमः। पूज्याय राघवेंद्राय सत्यधर्मताय वैताम सुपुरुषाय नमताम कामधेनवे सुधींद्रादि संभूतानां राघवेंद्रकाने नमो अत्यंतदाळवे मूकोपिप्रसादेनां मुकुन्दशेनायते राजरायते रिक्तो राघवेन्द्रं तमाश्रये। ध्रुवादिद्वान्तरवे वैष्णवेन्द्रवरेन्द्रवे श्रीराघवेन्द्र गुरुवे नमो अत्यन्तदाळवे। अपादमौलिपर्यन्तं गुरुनामात्मस्मृतेन विघ्नप्रणश्यन्ति सिद्धन्ति च मनोरथाः। श्रीमत्सद्गुरुराघवेन्द्रेति कुर्यात् ध्रुवं मङ्गलम्। ओम नमो नारायणाय। ओम शूरसेनाय नमः। Our salutations, namaskarams and pranams to the Supreme Lord Sri Hari Narayana, who is the commander, the Supreme Lord of all the heroic warriors. All that he has created are based on truth and justice, Ritim and Satyam. The whole world runs on Ritam and Satyam, on the truth and the order, truth and the righteousness. Satya and Dharma. Dharma is the way of life, that the order of existence following this supreme truth. So the Supreme Lord destroys all that is against this truth and injustice, truth and disorder. What all the Supreme Lord has to do is just withdraw from the forces of evil and forces of wicked. The Supreme Lord being the vital force, the vital energy that supports the beings, and also the consciousness. Once these two are removed, once they are detached, once they go away from this living entity called the personality, called the living beings, the body is dead. It is so simple. The Supreme Lord need not have to fight. But the way of the world is such that everything is make-believe. This world is the Maya, this world is the illusion, and the fight goes on between the right and the righteousness and the evil, between the truth and the untruth, between the evil and the good, between the darkness and the light. So, this fight is fight among the qualities Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Bhagavad Gita Supreme Lord says, Sri Krishna, that Gunan Gunavartante, it is only the qualities that compete with each other. It is the qualities that compromise with the other. It is the qualities that compete with each other. And it is the qualities that tries to destroy and overpower the other. It is all, this world is all make-believe, the fight between of the qualities. And these qualities, the Sattva, Guna, Rajas, Tamas, they are the nature, they are the quality of the Prakriti, of the qualities of the objects that have emanated from the Supreme Brahman. They are all the qualities of Vyakta Brahma, qualities of matter. And the Supreme Lord supports his devotees who fight for this truth and order, who fights on the part of equality and justice, on the path of Dharma and Satya, on the truth and righteousness, on the order. The Supreme Self is the commander and the overlord of all the heroic warriors. The greatest warriors in the air are verily the natural great elements themselves. Air is a warrior, water is a warrior, fire is a warrior. All these great elements that make up the body, the building blocks of life, they are the greatest warriors into which the Supreme Lord enters and makes them formidable. All bodies are also made of these warriors. The overlord of all these warriors are the Mukhya Prana. The Prana, the vital force, the energy, everything is energy. Truth, consciousness, bliss, Satchitananda. Instead of Sat, we can always also say Shakti. Shakti, energy, consciousness, bliss. because verily the energy is, which is ever always there, which cannot be created nor destroyed, is energy itself is the truth. So one who is energetic, one who is on the path of truth and dharma is ever victorious, because that is the order on which the whole established sustains. The overlord of all these warriors are Mukhya Prana, the vital force, Jiva, the changeless, deathless, fearless spirit. Om Yadushrestaya Namaha. Om salutations to Sri Krishna, the 8th avatar of Sri Vishnu. Sri Krishna is the Yogeshwar. He is the God who came down to earth for the uplift of the humanity when the evil and the wicked were overpowering. They were trying to subdue the good and the righteous. And the good and the righteous had become weak. They did not want to fight. They, in the name of attachment, ego attachment and non-violence, they had become weak. And the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna came down to earth and brought them into the battlefield, because this world is nothing but the battlefield. It is a fight among the nature of qualities, of different qualities. It is always the fight. There is no question of peace. Peace is only the preparation for the war, because the battle, the field, this fight is an expression of the energy. Energy means movement, and this movement is based on the qualities. If we try to analyze this very carefully, there cannot be any peace at all there, because peace means there is no dormancy, there is no peace, is only, final peace is only in the dead. And energy is always movement, ebullient, ever movement forward, taking different forms. And energy is required for change. And this energy, coupled with consciousness, is what makes the formidable warriors. And Sri Krishna is verily the Yadushrestha. He is the best. He is among the Yadus, the warriors, the sages and the saints. The other Yadavas are supposed to maintain truth and order in this world, but who ultimately turned out to be under the control of their ego and ignorance, and Krishna had to destroy themselves, allowed to destroy themselves. Sri Krishna, the incarnate, the Supreme Self, who taught to the humanity the methods of attaining his own nature. We all are divine, but we have forgotten our divinity. We are all these parts of the divine. We have emanated, we have come out from the Avyakta Brahma, the truth consciousness bliss, and we have taken this manifest form of these bodies. And we have forgotten our source. We have forgotten that we are the changeless, deathless, fearless spirit, and this body and mind are only the manifestation, the outer growth over our soul. And anything that manifests, anything that comes has got a beginning, also has an end. Anything bound by dimension is bound by time. Anything that has got a beginning undergoes change and dies. Jatasya maranam dhruvam. This is the basic nature, existence. So nobody is permanent. When we come empty-handed. When we go, we die, we go empty. We go empty-handed. The whole life is purification. The whole life is expression of the divine energy shining through the qualities. And he is the teacher of Bhagavad Gita. Sri Krishna taught the Bhagavad Gita, the immortal song of God. Anyone chanting the Gita any time and at any place is filled with Ojas, Tejas and Jyoti. Is filled with energy, is filled with direction. Bhagavad Gita is the song of God. Bhagavad Gita is the treatise how we have to live on this earth for our own happiness, for our own joy, for our own strength. And without this knowledge, basic knowledge of truth and righteousness, of simple way of life, we are bound to suffer, we are bound to be diseased, and we are bound to be in darkness. Sri Krishna taught very, very simple, basic things. He taught, first thing is that this body is perishable. This body is made out of the great elements. There are two things that make up a living thing. One is the matter, another is the spirit. And this matter consists of the Prakriti, and the Prakriti consists of 8 parts. What makes up our body is verily nothing but the composition of air, water, fire, earth and space. And into this, other its qualities of ego, ignorance and mind, they come and join. So these 8 components, air, water, fire, earth, ego, ignorance and mind, and they come and make up a body. But please, and we have to understand clearly, these components of the body is again the composition conjoined together by the Supreme Lord. Nobody has got the ability to bring air, water, fire, earth and make it a body. So the Supreme Lord makes it a body. Even then this body is only a dead thing in just a form, and the form to become alive, to this form to become an entity, to become a living thing, the Supreme Lord enters it by a spark of His divine, the prana and the prajna. So the nature of the Supreme Lord is prajna, the consciousness, and the prana, the vital force, the prajnatma. So it becomes the soul. When the spark of the divine enters as a soul into this body, we become a person, we become a living thing, we carry a name, we carry a form, and we revel in this world as though nothing is equal to us. So this is the first thing Sri Krishna taught, that this body which is made out of these great elements is perishable. It takes birth, it has got childhood, it becomes adolescent, plays all games, then it grows up, attains middle age, attains some knowledge, then it gets married and it starts enjoying the pleasures of this world, the physical, the world, the qualities of nature. Then it attains middle age, then it becomes old age, and then it dies. So this perishable. This body is perishable, and what supports this body is the imperishable Atma, the Prajnatma. So these two. So we have to realize that in reality we are this Prajnatma, we are the soul, we are the changeless, deathless and fearless spirit. So Sri Krishna taught this first thing, the combination of the perishable bodies, perishable components made of eight elements, and the imperishable Atma. And then he taught how to live. We have to live as per truth and righteousness. We have to perform the duty, we have to perform our work. So to support this body, we have to work. We have to use our body, we have to use our intelligence, we have to use our skills. And only when we put in a hard work, honest work, we are entitled to earn the wealth. Otherwise, we have no right even for the sustenance of the body. We become beggars. Instead of the masters, we become the beggars. So we have to work. It is only the work that makes us, that gives us the right to live it, right to enjoy. And this truth and righteousness, this work based on truth and order, is what makes the karma. And any devious work we adopt, of cheating, lying and all, killing and all for no purpose, then we are incurring disorder, incurring sin, following the path of disorder, and we have to pay for it. Our life becomes ugly and miserable. So Sri Krishna says that you have to put in a hard work, hard and honest work. You have to become skillful. So the most important is that you have to fight for right, truth and justice. That is the fundamental duty. Fighting for truth and order, rhythm and satyam, truthing for righteousness and justice is the fundamental duty of all living beings. So if we do not fight, we have no chance to win over the evil forces, because evil forces are always there. They are our other part only. So the righteous and the evil, the good and the bad, the right and the wrong, they are all two sides of the same coin, trying one fighting over the other at all times. So we have to fight. Fighting is our dharma. We cannot abandon this dharma of fighting for the truth and righteousness. So Sri Krishna said that you have got right only over the work on the karma of karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You have no right over the fruits of work, because the work consists of 5 components: karanam, karanam, kartrum, the doer, the way of doing, and the methodology, the tools we use, and also the outer environment that over which we have no control. That is the adhishtanam, the outer ambience, the outer situation. We cannot supply refrigerator to the Arctic region. So the outer situation where our work finds its utility is very, very important. And then the adhishtanam, the Daivatra Panchamam, the supreme will of the God is the ultimate that brings us required fruits. So the Supreme Lord awards everybody, rewards everybody according to his works, according to his eligibility, according to his comfort, in his own interest. So we have to be very satisfied with what we get. So Sri Krishna taught this, that body is made out of the perishable matter, the body is perishable, the mind is perishable, we don't have to be afraid of death. And then he said we have to work hard, we have to be honest, and we have to fight for the truth and the justice. And next he thought, you have never forget you are the divine, you are the spark of the divine, and I am always there to take care of you, because you are all our children and I am there to take care of you. So don't forget. Don't think that you are listless, you have no support. I am there to always support you. The moment you think of me, pray to me, I am there at you to protect you. So manmana bhava, think of me. Manmana bhava, madbhakta, be devoted to me, nothing else. You don't have to salute anybody, any person, any other gods in this universe other than me, because all the gods have come out from me only. Only my power flows through them and they have made them divine. So, manmana bhava, madbhakta, madhyaji, I am the king of the universe, I am the master and lord of all this wealth in this universe. So you ask me, I will give you anything that you want and you deserve and you are able to enjoy. Manmana bhava, madbhakta, madhyaji, mam namaskuru, you salute to me only, nobody else. So then surely you will come unto me. You incur no sin. Having done your duty without any attachment, without any desire for the fruits of action, having surrendered to me and deriving immense joy and happiness in me, you will surely come to me. Your life becomes a journey of joy and strength and celebration. Everything is celebration. There is no need to feel sorry. There is no need to feel depressed. It is only your ignorance and attachment to things, attachment to the qualities of objects that are ever fleeting that makes you miserable. So Sri Krishna taught these very, very simple things. And then Sri Krishna taught that you have to fight. You cannot run away. If you have a chance, if you have a chance to win, you have a chance to win if you fight, and if you abandon fighting, you are already defeated. The evil and wicked forces will take you over, and your purpose, the very purpose of your birth, of your life, is totally defeated. And you will fall into greater and greater depths. Nobody appreciates, nobody praises a person who runs away from the fight. Even if you fight and die in the process, for which the death is certain even for the victor, one attains immortality. One who dies while fighting becomes immortal. And the victor over the evil enjoys all the fruits of victory. So these are the very, very simple things the Sri Krishna taught to the devotees. Then he taught the ways of attaining freedom. There are 4 paths. One is the jnana, one is the karma yoga, that is doing your duty without attachment and offering all the work to the Supreme Lord Himself. That is the karma yoga, without attachment. Be skilled in your work with all the shraddha. Tvamagne prathimo angiro yushir devo devanam abhashvastata tavarukte vidvanapso jayanta murto brajadrushtiha. It is only by the grace of the Supreme Lord one attains all, one performs all excellence, one attains total freedom. So this is what the Supreme Lord says. So you have to be skilled and you have to perform. That is the Karma Yoga. Another is the Sannyas Yoga. Sannyas means following the path of Sat, truth, total truth. That is, this body is untruth, mind is untruth, this world is untruth. Don't give any importance, priority to these perishable things, and follow the path of righteousness, and give importance. Realize that you are the imperishable Brahman. Avyakta Brahman is so total path of renunciation, vairagyam, dispassion, being not attached to anything of this world is the sannyas, the renunciation, and following the true path, the path of total unification, total identification with the Atma, that is with the changeless, deathless, fearless Atma. That means not giving any importance to the things of the body, things of the mind, things of the world, controlling the one's senses, developing dispassion, and not running after any things of this world. And then this is the Jnana Yoga, the knowledge, the path of knowledge, understanding what we are, what is this body, what is this mind, what is this Atma, what is this knowledge, what is this consciousness, what is this energy. So total path of knowledge, and that knowledge itself gives freedom, that knowledge itself gives power, and that knowledge determines the way, the order of life the Jnani adopts. The knowledge determines the way of life the knowledgeable person adopts. So ultimately, the 4th is the Bhakti Yoga, total devotion, love and devotion and total surrender to the Supreme Lord, all-pervading Supreme Spirit, Narayana. Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is the simplest and the best. Not being attached to anything, not following any path, but total devotion that, you are the only. When you have taken care of me, I have nothing to say and everything is yours. Total non-attachment. Padma Patravi Sambhavat. This is the 4th path. Sannyas Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and path of devotion, the Bhakti Yoga. So Sri Krishna taught these very, very simple things. So he is the teacher of Bhagavad Gita. So Sri Krishna came down to earth as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki in the Dwapar Yuga, and he was on the part of he sided the Pandavas because they were meek, they were ignorant, but they were on the right path. They wanted to be honest, they wanted to follow the path of truth, and they were the devotees of the Sri Krishna. Whereas the formidable Kauravas were arrogant, egoistic. They were carried away by their own body and strength and greed and all the wickedness. They thought their mind is superior to everything and they can get away, but they were always ready to fight. And Pandavas, they were always avoiding the fight. So Sri Krishna directed the Pandavas never to avoid the fight. This is the lesson we always have to remember, that we should never run away from the fight. So Sri Krishna, anyone chanting the Gita at any time and at any place is filled with Ojas, Tejas and Dhruti. We are filled with courage, we are filled with strength, and we are filled with energy, and we get up. So the energy to stand up with Gita, with Krishna, Uttishta. So Sri Krishna says to Arjuna, Uttishta, Bardod Dvajaha. So the best among the Bharata, you get up, you fight, take your arms and fight the evil and the wicked Kauravas. So he enthused the Arjuna, and this Bhagavad Gita was taught in the middle of the battlefield to Arjuna. And this song of God, Sri Krishna, has remained immortal. And Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Tatra Partha Dhanuddharaha, Tatra Vijaya Virya Sri Sampada Shanti. Wherever Sri Krishna is there, wherever his devotees are there the victory is there, where the peace is there, where the wealth is there, and where all the enjoyments are there. Wherever there is strength, there is only peace. There is no peace for the wicked. There is no peace of mind for the weak. They are always afraid. The one who is strong, one who is prepared to fight, is ever peaceful. He rests. And those who are taking shelter under the heroic fighters who stand to protect the truth and justice, they are well protected. Om Sannivasaya Namah. Om salutations to Supreme Lord who lives in the truthful, the Satnyasis and Sannyasis. The Supreme Lord stays in the heart of the Sannyasi. Sannyasi is not just wearing the ochre robe and running away from the world, not being detached to this world, not being mute spectators to the evil and unrighteous, evil and the wicked action that is being performed by the others. Sannyasis are those who stand for the truth, who follow the truth, who are ready to fight the truth, who are ready to die for the truth, who take up the arms to fight the wicked and the injustice. He is the only sannyasi. A sannyasi who has no illusion, who has no delusion, who has no obsession for his body, who has no love for his body and mind to protect it at any cost. He is a sannyasi. One who is not afraid to die is a sannyasi. So sannyasi is not a beggar who has run away from the world. Sannyasi is the most skillful warrior who always stands for truth and righteousness. So the Supreme Lord, he stays in verily the hearts of the sannyasis. Without adopting the true path and making the supreme truth as one's way of life, one cannot be a sannyasi. And this truth is not to be found somewhere and sometime, because this truth is the righteous living. So, protection of the weak, protection of the right, protection of the sameness, protection of equality, protection of justice, protection of the environment. These are all the true ways of living. And this truth is not avyakta. The truth is avyakta. The truth is unmanifest. But it expresses in different bodies and names and forms and in its qualities. The truth, just as the strength is expressed in matter, just as the intelligence is expressed in the bodies, in the intelligent people. We know the difference between an intelligent person and a dull person. So the intelligence is unmanifest but expresses itself in people. So also the strength. Strength is unmanifest, but strength is expressed in the strong people. The vital force prana is unmanifest, but that is to be seen in a living person. We know the difference between a dead body and a living person. That difference is the vital force, the prana, in the living person. So all these are also the truth. It manifests in many in the ways of life. This pervades all time and space, and it is to be lived here and now. So the simple way of living is speak the truth, be honest, be hardworking, don't covet others' property, don't lie, don't cheat, don't kill, protect the weak, give water to the thirsty, give food to the hungry, give knowledge to the ignorant who want it, who aspire, and fight the evil and the injustice. These are just simple ways of true living. Om Shurasenaaya namah. Om salutations to the Supreme Lord, who is surrounded by those illustrious on the banks of Yamuna. And Shurasenaaya is Sri Krishna. All these names refer to the Sri Krishna, the 8th avatar of Sri Vishnu, Sannivasa, and Shurasenaaya, Yadushreshta, and Shurasenaaya namah. Shurasenaaya namah. So, it is the environment that makes the people saints and sages. It is the environment that makes up our mind. If we are brought up among the sages, our mind attains a saintly quality. If we are brought up among the musicians, our mind and body acquire certain qualities. If we are brought up under the butchers, under the cry, under the sinners and the evil ways who are bent upon making only the money by any means, then we attain certain quality. If we are grown up among the teachers, among the scholars, so our mind acquires certain quality. So also the Yamuna, the banks of Yamuna were supposed to be the habitation for the people who were saintly, who were knowledgeable, who were righteous. And Sri Krishna was one among them, and he was the chief of them. And the Supreme Yogeshwar and the incarnate of the Supreme Being, and Sri Krishna is who lived among these sages and the saints, and the good and the honest and the righteous people along the banks of the Yamuna. The birds of same feather flocked with air. Sri Krishna, the incarnate of Supreme Self, was surrounded by the most illustrious of his times on the banks of the river Yamuna. always the atmosphere of spirituality exists only at the top of the mountains or on the banks of the oceans or the meeting confluence of the rivers. This is declared in the Vedas. So wherever the sun, wherever the sky and the earth meet, that meeting point is the spiritual center. So in the highest point of a hill are established our temples, where the devotees attain and get charged. They get charged spiritually. They attain spiritual attainment. So all the temples are founded. Hindu temples are founded either on the top of the hill or on the confluence of the rivers and the ocean. The Somnath and the sea ocean and the Tirupati temple and the Dvadashi Lingas, they are all established in energy centers, and one energy center is the meeting point of the earth and the sky, that is either the ocean, where we get a infinite vision of space, and or on the top of a hill where we feel that we are almost touching the heavens. So the birds of the same feather flock together. Sri Krishna, the incarnate Supreme himself, was surrounded by the most illustrious of his times on the banks of the river Yamuna. Most of our very famous temples, they are all the energy centers located on either on the top of the hill or in the confluence of the rivers. The Badrinath, the Kedarnath, Dwarka, and the most famous Krishna temple on the banks of ocean in the Orissa. That is the Puri Jagannath temple, Tirupati temple, all these gigantic, eternal, immortal temples. And then the Sri Lingam temple, the Ananta Padmanabha temple, all these are the heritage, the eternal place of divinity and energy. Om Bhuta Vasaya Namah, the Supreme Brahman in this universe, which is his stomach, which accommodates the whole world. Bhuta Vasaya Namah. All the Bhutas. Bhutas means the beings who have evolved from the earth. Bhu means the earth. And all the beings who have evolved from the earth are the birds, the aquatic animals, the human beings, all the beings that are evolved, that are born on earth, they are accommodated, they all live in the womb of the Supreme Lord. The womb of the Supreme Lord is verily this cosmos only, this whole universe itself. If we see the cosmic ocean, we see all this earth, moon, sun, planets, stars, they are all floating. They are all established in their places. Their orbits are determined. So, Nakshatra Neme Namaha, the Supreme Lord has placed all the stars in their orbits, in their locations. Though they appear to be stationary, they are moving with infinite great speed. And all are floating in this cosmic ocean. Earlier, our concept was of world and universe was so shrouded in our own ignorance. Now we know, once the human being has stepped into the outer space, we have the knowledge of this existence. And the Supreme Lord in this, who is the form of this cosmic ocean only, Mahat, Mahat is greater than this, which accommodates this universe itself. Mahat Pradhana Purushakala Rupane, Satchidananda Swarupane Namo Narayane Harihi. The Supreme Lord is of the nature of the Supreme Consciousness in which all time and space exists. All limited and finite objects which take birth exist for some time and die, all within these limitations of the time and space, and all these find accommodation. And the Supreme Lord is the supreme abode even for the time and space. So we have to, if we allow ourselves to think what we are and who we are as a body and mind, as a body we are not even a speck of dust in this universe. And in the time of lifespan, we are not even a flash. So, in the cosmic sense, we as a personality, as a persona, as an entity with this body and mind, do not exist, have no significance. But the soul, but the Atma, which is making this a living entity, is the spark of the Supreme Divine with the everlasting, changeless, deathless energy, prana, and the consciousness containing the time and space itself is larger than the universe. So the entity, the divine, the divinity that is in our body, supporting us, the body as a living thing, which is making as a person, is larger than the universe. And this is what we have to identify. The body and mind is of no consequence, is of no significance. What matters is truth, consciousness, bliss, satyam, jnanam, anantam, brahma. We have to follow the truth. We have to, the way of life is we have to fight for the truth and justice and the establishment of rhythm and satyam, and the maintenance and the protection of the right rhythm and satyam, the truth and the order. This is and the Supreme Lord is verily the energy that moves along this ordained path and has made this world very, very beautiful because it is based on truth and order. Om Vasudevaya Namaha. Sri Vasudeva is the king of the Vasus. Sri Vasudeva is again Sri Krishna only. Sri Krishna, the Supreme Yogeshwar, is referred as Sri Krishna, as the Vasudeva. The Vasudeva is the god of the Vasus, the god of the Vasus. Now, Vasu is the wealth, and Vasus are the building components that make up the wealth of this universe. The wealth of this universe is air, and air is the pranavayu, the Supreme Lord, the energy, the vital force prana makes this vayu its vehicle. So vayu becomes the pranavayu, and the energy, the Mukhya Prana, the Supreme Lord makes the water as his vehicle. He makes the fire as his vehicle. He makes the space as the vehicle and makes the earth as the vehicle, the body as the vehicle. So these are all the Vasus, the greatest wealth. And he is the god of the Vasus, the god of the elements that make up our body complex is the Vasudeva. And the great elements, he is the Lord and Master of the Prana, the vital force. Vasudeva is the Supreme Self, he is the Supreme Lord, the all-pervading Supreme Spirit. Sri Hari Narayana is the Vasudeva. He is the King and Lord of the Mukhya Prana, the vital force. The vital force is under his command. He is just like the strength, our body strength is in our command. He is in our control, and we use enough strength that is required for a particular job, particular work, for performing particular work. So also this Mukhya Prana, the vital force is under the control of the Supreme Lord. He makes anybody, anything alive, and he can withdraw the vital force from any time. So all things are under his control. Even the gods, they derive their existence because of this Supreme Lord Vasudeva. And Vasudeva, the Supreme Self, is also another name for Sri Krishna, the incarnate, the avatar of the Supreme Self. So all the great elements are the vehicles of the Vasus. The body is made out of the earth, the air, water, fire, earth, they are the body components, and the Supreme Lord brings them together, makes the body, makes them alive, and all the divine forces follow him and stay in our body, and he is the Vasudeva. So the Sarvabhutadi Vasam Yad Bhuteshu Cha Vasatyapi Sarvanugrahakatvena Tadasmi Aham Vasudevas Tadasmi Aham Vasudeva iti. This is the beautiful Amrita Bindu Upanishad, 22nd sloka. In whom all the living beings exist, and who is beneficial to all, who is benevolent to all, who is holy and auspicious to all. I am that Atma of the Supreme Lord. I am the driving force of this world, of this universe, which makes up these bodies which are beneficial to all. And I am the Supreme, I am the most auspicious and the holiest, and I am that Atma, and I am the best among the best. This is what the Sarvabhutadi Vasam, living in all the bodies, living in all the beings, Yad Bhuteshu Cha Vasatyapi, which has made its residence, all these bodies has made its residence, Sarvanugrahakatvena, absorbing everything. It absorbs everything and gets Tadasmi. I grasp the nature and quality. I am a knowledge which sucks out all the qualities, all the nature. I come to know everything right from the source. Aham Vasudeva Tadasmi. I am that, I am that, I am Vasudeva. So our Atma staying in our body is the Vasudeva. Make no mistake about it. We have to be very, very clear and be established that we are verily the divine, because the spark of the divine, though we are in the individual bodies, when it leaves the body, it becomes that limitless and eternal. It becomes Anant, it becomes Avyakta, it becomes eternal, it becomes all pervading. And I am the Vasudeva. The spark of the Vasudeva verily stays in our body. And we have to make this body and the mind and the heart the best part for the Supreme Lord to come and stay. Do not make it impure. Do not impure the mind, do not impure the body, and do not make it impure means do not harbor things of this world. All things of this world are perishable, they are impurities. Do not harbor any thought, any desire for these worldly objects, because they are all impurities. Because they have got a beginning, they rot and then disappear. So this world itself is a perishable world of objects, bodies and beings, and don't entertain them, don't make room for them in the body and the mind. That is the only way we can remain pure and make a fit state, right place for the Vasudeva, for the Atma to reside, to enjoy the total consciousness and bliss. The outcome of this purity is joy and bliss. and total knowledge. Akrushnena rajasa vartamano niveshayat annamrutam vatyancha hiranyayena suvitarathena devo yati bhuvanani pashyan. The most beautiful mantra of the Rig Veda in the first mandala, 35th Sukta, second mantra. And the Savitru Deva, that is the Savit is the name given to the sun. The sun is Savitru. The sun is Savitru before in the early morning, before it makes the day dawn, before the dawn. The sun before rise is called the Savitru, and while coming from the dark period, so before the sunrise we are all living in the dark, it is the night, and when the sun starts rising, the dawn appears, the day comes, and this portion of the sun when he is about to rise, so the dawn after the night and before the beginning of the day is the Savitru. And this Savitru, when rising up, he wakes up all the human beings, he wakes up all the gods, and he established them in their places, and he moves on looking to all the whole universe in his golden chariot, and he is verily coming to us. This is the very most beautiful poetic mantra of the Rig Veda. The Savitru coming from the dark, coming in the dawn, as he comes in the early mornings, early dawn, he wakes up all the human beings, all the animals, he makes the birds get up and fly chirping, and all the gods are also, they wake up, and he makes the day bright, and he moves on observing all that is there in this universe in his golden chariot, and he is very verily coming to us. The Supreme Lord is aware of every living thing, and he fills up the whole universe by his brightness. This is the most beautiful mantra. And the sun sitting in his golden chariot drawn by the five white horses, and he moves in all the directions and makes them bright. And it is the Supreme Lord who, being seated in the sun himself, making the sun bright, he is the one who is shining all this world. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Sri Krishna Jasa Vartamana. This is the most beautiful mantra of the Sarvasu Nilayaya Namaha. Om salutations to him who dwells in all the pranas, the jivas, he is the Supreme Self. Sarvasu Nilayaya Namaha. So all these vasus are his residence. The air is his residence, water is his residence, fire is his residence, earth is his residence, space is residence. The Supreme Lord resides everywhere. So also when he resides in our body, he energizes them, he makes them come together, making up a body, and he supports individual elements which are the building blocks of life. Because he is staying in the air, we are able to breathe. So he supports the air in our body, Mukhya Prana. The Mukhya Prana consists of the 5 Vayus, that is the Prana, Apana, Vyana, Udana and Samana, performing different functions in the body. And he stays in the water, that is, he makes it up the blood, which supplies all the food, all the strength to the different body organs, carrying the strength to all, and because he is staying in the liquid portion, then he is staying in the fire. The fire is nothing but the energy. The fire, Agnideva, the fire is the energy maintained at 98.4 degrees centigrade at all conditions, at all temperatures, at all situations, in all weathers, in all this, everywhere the body temperature is maintained. All the gods reside at this particular temperature, all the body functions optimum to the right performance, perform their right duties at this optimum temperature, and see the Supreme Lord who is staying in this body, who is very, very steady, makes this body temperature steady. So, and the body organs which make up the bones and the muscles and which give their strength to the body, and also the space, the lungs, because the space is what makes up the structure, which give the form, and he, the Supreme Lord, makes them all his residence. Om salutations, the pranams, the namaskarams to the Supreme Lord who dwells in all the pranas, all the jivas, and he the Supreme Self. The vital force prana and all the individual souls, the jivas dissolve in the Supreme Self. All the jivas make the Supreme Self their dwelling place. In other words, we have emanated. We are a spark of the divine. Just as the sparks emanate from the blazing fire and the sun rays emanate from the sun, the jivas, that is the jivatma, the individual souls, have emanated from the Supreme Lord. The self, freed from the clutches of desire after attaining the supreme knowledge, after attaining supreme purity, self-realization, attains the nature of the Supreme Self and dissolves in the Supreme Self. Just as all the rivers flow into the ocean, become one with the ocean, lose their name and form, lose their identity, and simply referred as ocean, all the jivas, when they abandon this, when they leave the body, their identification with the name and form is lost, and they merge in the Vasudeva. They are simply called Vasudeva, but for that they have to attain total purity, total non-attachment, total knowledge, and all the impurities has to be abandoned. This is the condition, this is the way of life, this is the movement of existence itself. And the Supreme Lord makes these bodies a temple which makes them living beings. So, as long as the Supreme Lord is living in our body, as long as the soul is in us, as long as the jiva in us, we are an entity. We are the gods, we are the masters, we are the teachers, we are the friend, we are the father, we are the mother, we are the enemy, we are the villain, we are the benevolent, we are the godmen, we are all that we can think of and refer to is as long as the jiva, the soul, lives in our body. So it is the soul, it is the atma, it is the jivatma, which is all this, not the body or mind at all. The body and mind are only the carriers, they are only the perishable. And as long as the jivatma, the Supreme Lord stays in our body is a temple. It is honored, it is worshipped, it is prized. All the name, fame, wealth, everything, all the accreditations, all the things are referred to the body, belonging to the body, belonging to the person. But once the jiva, once the soul leaves the body becomes a garbage. It starts rotting immediately. The body, the mind disappears. The body becomes a heap of garbage to be burnt or buried immediately as early as possible. All the bacteria, all the insects, all the ants, whatever is there, they start attacking from both inside and outside and makes it up and eats it up. this body becomes merely food. The food, that the body that is made out of the food becomes the food. And as long as the Atma, the Supreme Lord, stays in the body, in the form of Jiva, as a spark of this, he becomes the eater. And once the Supreme Lord leaves the body, it becomes a food to be eaten, and all the animals, all the bacteria, all the insects, all the rats and anything that is moving, and they start eating up this body. So the body becomes a garbage to be burnt or disposed immediately after the soul leaves. So it is the soul that is the father, it is the soul that is the mother, it is the soul that is the friend or the villain, it is the soul that is the king or the prime minister, it is the soul that is the enemy, it is the soul that is the villain, and it is the soul that is to be punished. But the soul is not to be caught at all. It is agrahya. It cannot be touched. If at all, if we want to punish the soul, it is only the body that is to be punished. So the body is the medium for the soul, and the soul cannot be touched. It cannot be burnt, it cannot be wetted, it cannot be heated, it cannot be touched, it cannot be. The soul, the Supreme Lord, is beyond all the grasp of all the body organs. This is the most beauty. We consider we are only the body and the mind, but the body and the mind, they are nothing. The body and mind attain their importance because of the Atma, and once the Atma leaves the body becomes the garbage. But as long as the Atma remains in the body, resides in the body is worshipped, the body is honored, the body is to be punished. The wicked, that means the body performing the equal qualities, evil qualities. It is the body possessing the qualities that are punished. It is the body performing the noble functions, noble qualities that is honored. And body is the carrier of the gunas. So it is the body we worship, it is the body we honor, it is the body we depend on because of the noble qualities or the evil qualities, whatever it accommodates accordingly our reactions. And the soul is untouched. And the real power is the soul that makes up this body and mind a real entity. This is the most beautiful thing. And Shurasenaaya only this body is a temple as long as the soul lives, and when God leaves this temple, it becomes just a building, a rotting temple. So it is no more a temple, it becomes a garbage heap. This is the beauty of the existence of the Supreme Lord, the Creator. Paradoxical world. So, what we think as real is not real, and the real is not to be perceived. It cannot be touched. We consider we are all this body and the mind, and we struggle the whole life to enrich this body and the mind with all the name, form, wealth, property, the progeny, all the things which are only related with the world, with the body. And our body is nothing but that is the only thing related to this world. When the Atma leaves the body dies, and all the relationship with the body, all things that connected with the body, all the things that the person has struggled throughout the life just simply disappears. The name disappears, the form disappears, the attachment disappears, everything disappears with the disappearance of the body. So what we think is real is not real, and the real cannot be grasped, real is hidden. This is the beauty of the the creation. And it is the real that is supporting the unreal. And the real is not approachable, it cannot be honored, it cannot be disgraced. Any trial and tribulation is only for the body, which anyway ends up after a limited span of life. So everything is futile. So this is the beauty of the creation. And Vasudeva is the Supreme Lord, and he is the Jiva of the Jiva. He is the vital force of the soul in this. And he is the one who has made of this world extremely paradoxical, extremely enjoyable, extremely interesting. And what we call ours is not ours at all. What we call ours is only related to the body, and even this body is not ours, it is only an accumulation. And even this combination, the conjunction and the formation of the body is done by the Supreme Lord. So Indravayu ime suta upa prayobi ragatam indavo vamushantihi. This is the Rigveda mantra of the first mandala, second sukta, fourth mantra. O Supreme Lord, in the form of vital prana, vital force, we are all your children. Indravayu ime suta, and you please provide us most delicious food and drinks, and we always wait for you. So the food and drinks are the most coveted, most enjoyable creation of the Supreme Lord, which supports the body, which supports the mind, which supports the consciousness, which makes us enjoyable. The food and drinks are the most coveted, most enjoyable. We can satisfy a person by giving food and drinks and not by any other means. And Indravayu is our Indra is the Jivatma, is the soul, and Vayu is the Pranavayu. And as long as it is in our body, the body remains alive. And this Jivatma is verily the spark of the Supreme Divine. And all the body organs are the different parts, different branches of this Indra. Indavaha is the body organs which are different branches of this Mukhya Prana, of the Supreme Lord, of the body itself. The body is the tree and the body organs are the different branches, and is the Supreme Lord in the form of the sap, in the form of the Pranavayu, supports this body and makes it alive. So this is the most paradoxical world. Om Analaya Namaha, Om salutations to him whose wealth and power has no limits. Everything related to us is our limited. Our life is limited. Our body is limited in dimension and in time. Our mind is limited because our mind is itself is a window. Only it is in our hand, it is the will of the Atma to make this mind as large as possible. The mind can dissolve itself and becomes the consciousness. It becomes limitless. So, the wealth of the Supreme Lord is unlimited. What are this wealth? The air, water, fire, earth, the minerals, the planets, the stars, the energy is all unlimited. And we also emulate the Supreme Lord in acquiring as much as wealth. It is only emulation, it is only symbolic, it is only an activity. What real wealth is that what we can enjoy, the food we eat, the energy we consume for our movement, for our joy and happiness, and what we share with others is only ours. Otherwise, all the wealth that are connected with the body and the mind perishes and disappears with the body itself. The Supreme Lord is the energy behind all the energies. He is the fire of the fire, sapidity in the water, the vital breath in the air, and strength in the food. He is the giver of strength, the joy, and the knowledge. So, everything connected with the Supreme Lord is supreme wealth. His very grace is wealth. His benevolence is wealth. His blessings are wealth. The very thinking of His name and meditation itself is attaining the highest wealth. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Darpaya Namaha. We will take up into this in the next session. Hari Om Tat Sat.